Hello, true believers. If I talked about drinking deer's blood or pissing in a radiator or yelling Wolverines, would you know what I'm talking about? Well, if you're from Generation X or a little bit, or if you were raised in the 80s, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. We're talking about the movie Red Dawn tonight. But before we do, I want to give a Heroes for Hire Comic Club movie night tribute to the late, great Sam Neill. He's in one of my favorite movies of all time, Jurassic Park. He's also in movies like In the Mouth of Madness. So good actor. And I loved your work. Rest in peace, brother. All right. So now we're going to bring on some guests. I don't know. Maybe this guy's drank deer's blood before. I don't know. Let's see. It's Metal F Collectibles. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's up? No, I not drinking any blood. Iron content too high, you would definitely vomit.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks good on TV, but no, I'm good.
No, man, you'll never be the same again, man. I'm just kidding. How you doing?
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. Like, whatever. I'm good, bro. How are you?
Pretty good. I was just reading the message there. I can't complain. You know, we're talking about a little bit of a movie that was a little bit controversial when it came out. For a few reasons we'll get into tonight. But we also have Tat here. Well, ask Tat if he's ever pissed in a radiator before.
No, never have.
Okay,
Seen it happen, but never had. I stayed away from the overflow.
All right, and I don't know. We got Big Jeff's back here, and I'm gonna ask him if he's ever seen any paratroopers from Cuba paratroop into his high school. But I'm pretty sure the answer is no.
No.
Okay. All right. And also we got, not that you're aware of, right? Unless it was like something happened. I'm trying to think of something else that happens in that movie that I forgot about. But anyway, we'll see if Memo 420 can tell us if he's ever been in a band of teenage rebels having to fight off communist soldiers who invaded his hometown.
No, not yet, but that'd be awesome.
Well, I've seen a lot of people talking about, like, there's a lot of memes that joke about, like, you know, because we got a lot of stuff going on in the world, and, you know, some people are concerned about World War III. And I've seen some posts that every time somebody watches the news from Generation X and they think of this, and it shows a picture of Patrick Swayze and all the cast of Red Dawn. So I don't know if that's true though, but like I said, there's a little there was a criticism about this movie from critics who thought it was a little heavy-handed and alarmist, you know, that there was going to be like, well, of course, we were in the Cold War. People were worried about the big one, right? The World War III. So I guess there was like, I don't know, but they really kind of propaganda, you know, like, I'm sure I'd like to know if the Soviet Union had a movie like Red Dawn where the Americans invaded Moscow or something. I've always wondered about that. But anyway, it's a 1984 American action film. It was remade in 2012 starring Chris Hemsworth. But in my world, that movie doesn't exist. So we're going to forget like that movie ever happened. It was directed by John Milius. John Milius, he did not make a lot of films, but he wrote a lot of films. He wrote Jeremiah Johnson, Magnum Force. He also wrote and directed a movie called Dillinger and The Wind and the Line. He wrote and directed that. He wrote Apocalypse Now. He wrote and directed Conan the Barbarian, this movie, and also Clear and Present Danger. He wrote that, and he directed a movie called Flight of the Intruder. He also got uncredited script revisions for Dirty Harry, Jaws, An Uncommon Valor, Indiana Jones, The Temple of Doom, The Hunt for Red October, Saving Private Ryan, and Behind Enemy Lines. So, also, the uncredited writing sequence from Jaws is the scene where they're in the boat talking about the USS Indianapolis. So it was like the best scene in the movie, basically, he wrote. All right. So then we find here. The budget for this film was $17 million, and it made $38 million at the box office. So it was a minor success. The cast includes Patrick Swayze, C. Thomas Howell, Lea Thompson, Ben Johnson, Charlie Sheen, Harry Dean Stanton, Ron O'Neal, who was Superfly, and Powers Booth, and several other people. Let's see if there's something else I can tell. Oh, it's been mentioned in movies such as It's been mentioned in movies like Hot Tub Time Machine. It was homaged in the South Park episode Gray Dawn, where the old people of the town get fed up and how they're treated to take over the town. A 2000 episode of Family Guy called Hell Comes to Quahog, where and there's a cut scene where Peter was in high school and performed a stage musical about Red Dawn on Broadway or something. In the 2017 American military drama series SEAL Team episode Rolling Dark, numerous references to Red Dawn are included. Phineas Ferb, the movie Across the Second Dimension, references Red Dawn when Irving stands above destroyed robots and holds a staff and yells, "Wolverines!" And in a 2006 American Dad episode called With Friends Like Steve's, they reference Red Dawn with characters Stan Smith and Barry play act as the Wolverines. And Smith comments that it's the best film he's ever seen. All right. And it's also referenced in like several video games, including Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And the guy that wrote it, John Milius, he wrote the video game for Homefront. So, all right, let's say hello to the chat. Hey, Comic Vet's in the house. He's got a show later tonight, 11:55 p.m. Ron Helton is here.
What's up, Ron?
Chad going Wolverines. What's up, you filthy animals? Yeah, what's a Wolverine? It's a little animal that's fierce or something, he says in the movie. Yeah, R.I.P. Sam. Let's see what else we got. Easy E's here. What's up, Easy? Surf Blue in the house. Hey, Babic, how you doing? Ron says post-Soviet cinema favored different genres. There is no Russian movie featuring local teenagers conducting insurgency against the occupying American military force. All right. Yeah, it's one of the best speeches in a movie, that Jaws one. His high school mascot was a Wolverine. All right, man. And Tat, you got a shout out here. He says, thanks for the awesome giveaway. Babic. So we're going to go around and we'll give our overall thoughts first. Chad, what are your overall thoughts of Red Dawn?
Overall, this is a nostalgic movie for me. I've got the DVD right here. This was actually one of my first DVDs I ever purchased. I believe it was like back in the days of Best Buy when they had like the big bins full of, I think it was maybe $14.99 at the time, which was the cheaper price when DVDs first came out. That was one of the classics I got. This was a movie that my mom told me I had to watch over and over and over again. She was a huge Patrick Swayze fan, mostly because of his rear end. You know, Dirty Dancing, all that. But there's a lot of parallels. Like I grew up in Michigan, but I also lived in Colorado when I was a toddler. So even like the scenery, like, yeah, there's a lot more mountains in Colorado, and I obviously don't remember. I was just a baby, but like the type of trees, the climate, it's very similar. It's very similar. and the Wolverine is like the state animal of Michigan. So it was kind of cool. I will say, rewatching this, I haven't watched it in a while, and it's not as epic as I remembered it. I still love it. It's very nostalgic, but a lot of the performances and things, and we'll get into that. But like some of the things fell flat. But yeah, overall it was a lot of fun, very nostalgic. So yeah.
All right, cool. Tat, I know you watched it with me and Jeff. What are your overall thoughts of rewatching Red Dawn?
For me, it was like kind of took me back when I first saw it, and I wanted to go outside and fight people. you know? I wanted to kind of go live out in the wilderness and see if I can survive. It was just one of those movies where I can imagine it happening and what I would do and how I'd, try to protect my family kind of thing. Overall, I thought it was like a really uplifting movie to kind of show, you could do anything if you put your mind to it, even in harsh situations, as like they were going through. So, yeah, I liked it a lot.
All right. You got anything else to add?
Just like that was probably like some of my first introductions to some of those actors, too.
Oh, yeah.
Being in the movie for me. And then after that, just remembering who they were. So when they came out with another movie, if I wanted to watch it, I knew who I at least was seeing on the screen rather than trying to guess.
All right. Cool. Hey, Jeff, what are your overall thoughts on the rewatch?
Like Chad, it's a nostalgic movie for me. I remember being a kid when I first saw it, and yeah, like they said, it was the height of the Cold War and all that. Looking back on it now, it's a little goofy, I think, because there's no way that any invading force would have been able to penetrate American airspace without getting 12,000 missiles shoved up your rear end. But if war was going to occur, it was going to be a bright flash of light, and then that's it. It's done. But when I was a kid, it was fun because, like you, I was like, I was into GI Joes and playing war in the backyard and all that stuff. Like a lot of kids were. So this movie was a lot of fun. It was like, oh man, the Russians invaded. They're up in Colorado, or I think it was Colorado somewhere.
Yeah,
they're in Colorado.
They're in this like gorgeous mountain forest setting, and they're out, camping out and watching out for the Russians, and being this insurgent force. It's like it's adventure for a kid. But
yeah, fantasy, kind of like what's that book, Lord of the Flies? It's kind of a group of kids kind of thing. Sorry,
also, Jeff. It's also like Jeff said, it's totally implausible, obviously.
Yeah.
But like it's like a pro-America. Like if you look back at it, it's kind of a propaganda film because Reagan at the time was talking about how the Soviets were the evil empire. Of course, at the same time, they're talking about how awful we are, right? So it was kind of like also it's like scary because how many years since the Cuban Missile Crisis? It hadn't been that long, 20 some years.
Yeah, that's
so there's a lot of mistrust. Like they invaded Afghanistan, which you think we would have learned a lesson from that, but apparently we didn't. But also we had like Reagan going up there and he went on TV and called them the evil empire, like Empire Strikes Back or something. So they were the bad guys, and we thought they were all horrible people. I don't know. That's the way I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was just pretty much it. Being a kid seeing it, it was an adventure movie.
But we had these kind of movies like this back then, like Invasion USA, or like Missing in Action Part 2. We basically Chuck Norris and Rambo refought the Vietnam War because we're coming off of we got our ass kind of handed to us during that conflict. We dominated the battlefield, but we lost the battle at the end of the day because of people back home didn't want to have nothing to do with it. So I kind of feel like they're trying to be like I don't know, they're trying to like get everybody's they prey on your patriotism for this movie. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So but you know what I mean. But go ahead, Memo. What are your overall thoughts?
It was my first time watching it. I mean, I was born in '87, so this movie came out 3 years before I was born.
Yeah.
So it was my first time watching it, and seeing those actors from nowadays, and seeing how young they were and how they were acting back then, it was pretty cool to watch. Overall, the movie was all right, because I'm used to the Red Dawn that came out recently. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the one with Hemsworth. Yeah.
So comparing the two, you can't really do. I can't do that, because this was like the highlight of action movies back then. So, overall, I think it was a good movie. I liked it.
Yeah, it's what was he talking about? Rage Against Machine. Well, I don't know. Yeah, Rage Against Machine. All right. Well, yeah, it's kind of it's dated. The concept for this particular version is dated because obviously there is no Soviet Union no more. But even if if there still was, like the possibility that something like this could happen without, they try to explain it by saying they took out our nuclear sites like somewhere, or NORAD or whatever, before we could do anything. But I don't know that that's very plausible, because we would have still struck them no matter what they did. They would have got hit by something.
They said they took out communication satellites, and then they had sleeper agents that came up illegally from Colombia and then awakened. And I'm like, okay, so there's a whole marching force coming through and nobody noticed, basically.
So you're saying the Central Intelligence Agency didn't know
the airline,
like what?
The Air Force pilot talks about troops marching from Russia. I'm sorry, from Alaska, and coming down from the north. And I'm like, oh, he just kind of glazed over that they had free passage through Canada.
Yeah, how they do that? I don't
They
know.
had passports.
Yeah, they just I guess they hitched the
Like
ride.
I said, it's adventure. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a note from their parents.
It's kind of like a movie, in a way. It's kind of like a movie. Hold on a minute. Get out of here.
Yeah, I was waiting for my wife to get home.
Dog's chasing the cat. I got a Red Dawn situation in the house right now. All right. So anyway, like I was saying though, what it is kind of like a movie we're reviewing next week, Iron Eagle. It's about, like, you're kind of like, look at, like, this movie's for teenagers. I don't care what the rating is, because like it's a cast of teenagers, and what it does show, interesting enough to me, and like looking back at it now, when I was younger, I just thought it was cool because we used to play war in the back. You know what I mean? But I kind of have a new perspective of this movie after watching it. Like, you kind of see what happens to these kids being in that situation after a while, right? And there's some really serious shit in this movie. Like, you're like, oh shit, I didn't take it as seriously when I was younger. I don't know why, but I didn't. So, but like, also, like, it's kind of got an interesting fact in this movie. I kind of want to point out that if somehow they were able to invade and go inward into our country, into like places like Colorado and Montana, Texas, and Kentucky, in the South, I got some bad news for anybody that does that, because you see the situation you had in this movie, it would be like 100 times worse than that. So I don't know. I mean, you know what I mean? Everybody got guns, y'all. Don't act like we don't. So that's another thing. It's like, and like, I don't know, like they kind of, I don't know. They also kind of, I mean, there's a couple of times they're totally like, these are the evil Russians. You know what I mean? Like, you have the guy Ron O'Neal plays, and he kind of like, from his perspective, like, wait a minute, I used to be the insurgent. Now I'm having to fight insurgency. So you get his perspective, at the end of it. So, and like all through the movie, he's kind of like being disenfranchised by, disenchanted by his own cause, so to speak. So it's interesting having that dynamic. But all the Russians are totally stereotypical. It's kind of funny. And like there's one other thing, guys. I got a question for everybody. How did these kids just keep stealing weapons, like from the people they killed? How were they so well armed? I don't remember ever seeing them take any weapons.
I was going to question the same thing because I was like, where did they get all these guns from? Like,
I think it's inferred that
think it's appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's inferred that they've had skirmishes with the invading force and won.
Yeah.
Took rifles and rocket launcher.
But we used to, I don't know about you, Jeff, but we used to go outside dressed in camo and pretend like we were in the movie. Like we'd go, Wolverines.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so like, but there are some actual guerrilla tactics they use in the movie that people actually use. Maybe they don't do it as well. Like there's one scene where Lea Thompson's on a heavy machine gun and she's laying down fire. And then one of the idiots runs up in front of her field of fire to throw a hand grenade. And so that technically takes that machine gun out. She can't fire it no more. So that would have been like, they would all been dead if that happened, because you got to have the machine gun laying down covered in fire.
They're not trained.
Yeah, I know.
Well, there's another scene where she's firing that 50 caliber Browning and someone is their head is right next to the end of the barrel.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way you're firing a 50 cal and your head's next to it. Your ears would be bleeding instantly. Like,
no, it would mess you up bad. It would mess you up bad.
There could have been a lot of parts too that they cut out of the movie to show how they got guns. But yeah, it was interesting how they'd always have just the right amount of stuff to do their fight.
There's
like
another
the missile
thing
launchers and stuff.
There's another thing that kind of bothers me. I'm not sure a rocket propelled grenade can take out a tank. I think it would bounce off the armor.
You could maybe damage a tank tread.
Yeah.
And maybe catch it on fire, but you're not taking a tank out with that, no.
Because there's like on certain armor, especially on the front armor, it's sloped too, right? So it's reinforced, especially in the front. If you hit it in the front, that rocket propelled grenade is just going to bounce off of it like this. It's going to go like this. And it's going to go up. That's the only thing that's going to happen. It's not going to, and unless it's like if it's like an armor personnel carrier, it could take that out. But as far as like a heavy, like, what kind of tanks did they use back then, Jeff? The Soviets, T-34s? Is that what they called them? I think it was a T-34. I don't think it would have. The T-34 was made like a damn granite rock,
Yeah, Russian armor was tough.
I saw on our side they were using a lot of Abrams tanks.
Yep.
The M1A1s.
Yeah. Well, those tanks are indestructible too. Like those we had those in Iraq in the first Iraq war, and the Iraqi army thought they were going to ambush us in the desert, and it was like the last big tank battle in history, I think, until I think recently with the Ukrainians. But like they routed every one of those Russian tanks with those M1 Abrams. There was just they got like a 70 millimeter cannon on them. So
yeah.
But also there was a rumor that like the Ukrainians were attacking Soviet tanks and spray painting Wolverines on the tanks after they blew them up. So
nice.
So this movie goes back very far, and it gets touched a lot of people.
Yeah, well, it's I mean, now we're getting ready to talk about the great cast. It's like a young cast. I mean, they were. I don't know if it was considered an all-star cast when it came out, but now if you're looking back at it, you're like, damn, look at all these actors in this movie. Chad, why don't you pick somebody in the cast out that you want to highlight? You see how I did that segue there?
I think I'm gonna go with C. Thomas Howell. He played Robert.
Yeah, Robert.
He was kind of the guy that got jaded and kind of took to the killing way more than everyone else. Seemed to almost enjoy it. Even the shot down pilot was like, yeah, that fire is gonna burn you up, kid. And he's like, yeah, that keeps me warm inside.
Yeah.
I thought he did a really good job. Even when they shot the guy that had betrayed him, I forget which character that was. His dad was the mayor, and
Darren Dalton, Daryl Bates. Yeah.
Daryl. Yeah. And like Jed couldn't do it. Patrick Swayze couldn't do it. Like he was starting to cry, and then Robert just finished him off. And like at first you could see the blood splatter and then like kind of a look of horror on his face a little bit.
Yeah.
I think he did a really good job, man.
Well, yeah, I think it was great. Like, you kind of see him at the first, he's like a scared kid, right? And then they teach him how to shoot. He kills deer, you know, and they have him drink the deer's blood, which is a ridiculous thing. You know, they just put it in there because they look cool. I know, but it definitely would get sick probably.
Yeah.
But so after that, I guess he'd learned how to shoot. They've been up because it looks like several months go by, right? Like it's like school year, and then like so they're up there long enough he learns how to shoot, and then they kind of like have this thing thrust on him, and then he's just wanting payback. Like that's all he cares about. Like, because his whole family's been taken away from him. Well, they all want that, but he's just like almost blood drunk, right? He don't care. He's going to get some blood. He don't care if he even survives, as you see later on when he's attacking that Russian gunship. He doesn't give a shit. He's just going to go out shooting like he was tired of running. So that's a good pick, Chad. You got anything else to add?
Oh no, great.
All right,
great to add.
All right, Tat. Pick a character you want to highlight.
Well, I thought about Patrick Swayze, but then I really like Charlie Sheen's character in the movie.
Matt Eckert. Yeah.
Yeah, because he played, not only did he play his younger brother, but it kind of made me think about like how my relationship is with my brother, you know, like we bicker and we fight, but I usually kind of keep him grounded. It keeps me grounded. But the part I liked was when they were eating by the campfire with those girls that came along with them.
Yeah.
And just, you know, how he was just like, he morphed back into that man mentality of, oh, women do all this stuff. And I'm like, man, dude, that would not fly today. You know, like when he told him to wash the dishes.
And especially even those girls didn't fly because those girls had been through hell. They kind of insinuate they got assaulted by some of these bad guys, right? So,
oh yeah.
So they were already like, fuck you.
Yeah. I like that interaction there. You know, that was to me was what I kind of, you know, what kind of happens nowadays, you know, and just the fact, like, you know, he was going to do whatever he needed to do with his brother, you know, he was all in with his brother. Yeah. And I thought the other part too in the movie, when they had to, you know, basically confront one of their members, you know, he was trying to tell his brother, this isn't the way we do this, you know, we shouldn't do this. So he was trying to be like the voice of reasoning, you know. And so it just kind of like kind of really resonated to me because like that's what I kind of do in my own life is just, you know, like when I see there's like a bad thing happening, I'm like, hey, there's got to be another way, you know. I know we're in this, you know, this pardon my language shithole, but there's got to be a better way, you know, not just going their guns blazing. So I really liked his character. I thought he portrayed it really well, and it almost kind of followed him in his TV show 2.5 Men, you know.
Yeah. Well, also it's kind of like, it's a good portrayal of two brothers, right? Like, I thought they had good chemistry together as brothers.
Yeah,
so that's a good pick, Tat. Jeff, is there anybody you want to highlight? Any character? Which one do you want to highlight?
I think they all did a pretty good job. I think they just made it a lot more. And I'm remembering this as a kid watching it. They made it a lot more real. You know, they all, you know, I don't know what to say about it. I'm going to choose Swayze's character because I think he did a good job portraying. He's the older brother, right? He's out of school. He's working at the gas station.
Yeah, Jed Eckert.
He still ain't a man yet. He's still figuring life out. He doesn't know shit.
He's in between being a boy and a man at this point.
Yeah, he's thrust into a situation he's not prepared for, but he doesn't know what to do or who to turn to because he is the eldest and they're looking to him for leadership, right? At least I think he feels that way.
Yeah.
And he's not prepared for it, which, you know, that's no fault of his, but you see him struggle with it throughout the movie, you know.
Do you think also there's a point where he feels like he's responsible for his younger brother? And I think it's like cemented home even more when they talk to their dad. He's like, you boys watch out for each other.
Yeah. So when you're the older brother, I'm an older brother, I have a younger sister. Mm-hmm. You do feel a protective responsibility over your younger sibling. At least I do.
Yeah, definitely.
And so and not only does he have the younger brother, but I think, to me, I get the feeling that he's quote unquote the leader of that little band of Wolverines.
Yeah, I got the feeling all those young guys kind of looked up to, like he was the guy they looked up to when they were in school.
Yeah, because in the beginning they have that first dust up between him and what was the other kid's
Daryl, the mayor's son.
Yeah, they have a dust up because Daryl's like, this ain't the football team, captain of the football team or whatever, and they have a little throwdown to figure out who's going to be calling the shots, because in a situation like that, you got to have somebody. But yeah, I think he struggles with it though. A couple of times he breaks down, and then when he sees other people breaking down, don't cry. So, and you see him directing people a lot in several different scenes, whether it's in a battle or whatever. But he struggled with it. He wasn't ready for it. He made the best he could do. They wind up with a situation where Daryl has the tracker, that was bringing the Russians to him. And he feels like Daryl has to be executed, but he can't do it. He just can't bring himself to do it. So I don't know. I think Patrick Swayze did well playing that part, showing the struggle of it.
Yeah, I think so. Well, you're going to have, like, you're just in a situation, you don't want to be in. Like, it's kind of like, well, I think we talked about this there in the movie when we watched it, Jeff. It's kind of like the partisans in, like, France back in World War II. Like, they didn't want to have to do what they were doing, but they were kind of thrust into it. And you like see interesting. Also, I would say the conflict in Northern Ireland in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, because there's pictures of like a girl in a real flowery dress wearing a leather jacket and a beret firing an M16. Yeah. So it's like what people will end up fighting for if they feel like their way of life's being challenged, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, throughout history, you can see examples of how hard a people will fight against an invading force.
Yeah. Well, we're seeing it in Ukraine right now.
Especially the Russians.
Yeah.
Right. Look at his. Nobody has ever got the Russians on their own territory.
Yeah.
Hitler pushed them back to Stalingrad, but that was about as far as they got.
Yeah. They say you never start a ground war in Russia.
Yep.
All right. Well, because like the Russians have another a division, and that division is called Winter. That's a whole other army right there. You can't fight that. You can't fight that one either. All right, Memo, what's a character you'd like to highlight?
I'm gonna have to go with the one that Metal Elf chose. Same, I forget his name. What was his name?
Robert.
Yeah, he was very he was about it. He was about fighting, standing up to the enemy, and doing what had to be done to a traitor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. Like, I know they were crying over it. Me and Jeff were like, no.
Yeah, me too. Like, I was just
you can't trust it no more. Yeah.
You can't. Once a traitor, always a traitor. Like, especially in that situation where people are getting killed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's,
what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, if that was me, I would hesitate to shoot him. You know what I mean? Can't trust you anymore. You just because of you putting that or swallowing that tracker, got a lot of people killed. You know what I mean?
We got the captain, the colonel killed.
Yeah.
The one young boy, Brad, Danny. I know. Was it Danny?
It one of them. I think it has to be done because you also have to send a message to everybody else in the group. If you get hemmed up, you gotta eat it. You can't bring it up. You can't bring it back.
Yeah, exactly. And then I just like the way how he went out too. He just went out gun blazing against a gunship with an AK-47. I'm just like,
yeah,
two balls on him, screaming Wolverines till the end, which was pretty cool. So I really liked him. But yeah.
Oh, he's having technical difficulties. That would be tough though,
Yeah.
Having to turn your gun on somebody that was home team, it does suck. It would be hard. But you're in a like incredible situation, a weird situation.
Yeah.
Well, and you figure too, it was the son of the mayor, so probably a lot of people didn't like him anyways,
Yeah.
because he probably walked with his nose up and looked at everybody as like they were peasants, kind of thing.
And he was the first
because
one.
he actually did say, I'll do it. He was like, so he didn't hesitate. He's like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
He probably already had a grudge against him. He's like, I don't like this kid anyway.
Yeah. And like also, you kind of see how his character was a little bit more desensitized to death at this point, which is what happens when you're in a situation like this. Like my dad was in Vietnam. Jeff's dad was in Vietnam, and you kind of get used to seeing shit like that happen. Like it's just like, well, my dad's like, we don't really want to get to know these guys too well. You know what I mean? They show up, somebody's not making it home. It's just the way it is, unfortunately. But that's a good pick. I'm going to go with. I'm going to talk about first. I want to talk about Ron O'Neal though, because I didn't know that was him. But like Colonel Ernesto Abila, he's from the Cuban Revolutionary Army leader. What's interesting about him is like all the other characters are just like, you know what I mean? You don't really like any of these other like bad guy characters, right? But like you slowly, like I like the way he kind of slowly is starting to get disenchanted about the way things are going, the way things are being run. He's like, because I used to be part of this kind of thing. I'm like, in Cuba, we were revolutionaries at one point. We were these people, and now the shoes on the other foot, and I'm fighting the people like I used to be like. So I kind of like.
I'm a policeman now.
Yeah,
the revolution's over.
Yeah, that was like it for him, and like he's getting ready to like resign his commission right before Jed and Matt attack the Russians, the Soviets in the town at the end of the movie, and then he just lets them go at the end. It's like it's kind of like he's just tired of killing. He's like, I don't want to kill kids. I didn't sign up to kill kids, right? Or intimidate like civilians, which is what they were doing. Also, though, the two girls, Jennifer Grey and Lea Thompson, especially Jennifer Grey, I want to talk about because the scene where she is shot and she tells Jed, like, they killed me. She knows she's not going to survive, and she has that moment with Swayze. I thought that was pretty cool. And it's interesting, too, because those two would co-star again in a movie called Dirty Dancing a few years later, which they
hate each other.
They hated each other's guts by the
Yeah.
They hated during this film of this movie, I think. And then Swayze like didn't call her no more. It was like one of those on-set flings or whatever. And I think she took it, like got upset that he didn't call her. And he ended up getting married, I think, after this movie, or like a few months later, I think. I can't remember his wife's name, but she was real pretty too. But so they had like a rivalry when like they were cast together in Dirty Dancing. But that's a story for another movie. And of course, Lea Thompson. You could tell the two girls, what I like about it is they're damaged characters, right? Well, they all are, but you could tell they've been through some stuff that they didn't really, it was inferred, but they didn't really tell you what happened to them. But they probably had to go through a lot to even survive to that point to go to their grandpa's house. And their grandpa's played by Ben Johnson, who was he was in the rodeos. He was a legit cowboy, and he was in a bunch of movies with John Wayne and a bunch of Westerns. So, but that's all I want to talk about. We've highlighted all that, so we'll get into style and structure.
Can I say one thing, Matt?
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought it was interesting that on the communist side, that the Cuban guy, the commander, was the voice of empathy, right?
Yeah.
Like the voice of humanity. And on the American side, Charlie Sheen was the voice of empathy.
Yeah, that's true.
And thinking of how Charlie Sheen is as a person and a lot of characters he played, he's not the most empathetic person or character actor. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, he wasn't later on, but like he kind of has that same kind of idealistic voice of reason person in Platoon at the first of it. Then he becomes jaded. But yeah, for the most part, you're right, though. I agree. That's interesting too, though. It's an interesting dynamic. Those two are like kind of like on opposite sides of that. Like, you're right, because everybody else was like, kill that guy, right? They want to kill Daryl, and like he was the one trying to talk his brother out of doing it, which he successfully did. But then, Robert's like, nah, I ain't having none of that. But
well, he kept being like, how are they any different than us? Like, how are the Russians any different than us? They're just
also people. that scene where they first encountered the enemy, and when they still don't know how to fight or anything, and they're not very well armed, and the one guy they shoot in the back, and he gets back to the vehicle, and he's getting ready to call for help, and Swayze points the gun at him, and he looks at him, and he realizes this guy's not much older than him, and he shoots him. But yeah, so that was an interesting scene too. But all right, let's talk about the style and structure, and I'll start in reverse this time. We'll go with Mimo this time. What do you think of the style and structure?
Style was pretty good. Structure, I believe it could have been more detailed on certain parts, on how they got the weapons. It could have been cool to see them set up on how they were going to ambush certain areas. I thought it would have been cool to see them like, all right, I need you to go here, here, here. Yeah, they planned it out, but you didn't get to see the actual setup.
Well, what I like, what was funny though, is that one part. Remember where the colonel's like trying to tell him, like, you're going to go right here in a flanking maneuver. And that one kid goes,
what's a flank?
Yeah, what's a flank? He's like, shit. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So at that point, I would have been like, damn, we're fucked. But yeah, the structure could have been a little bit more better. But overall, I think the music was okay. The explosions and stuff like that. When that guy in the beginning of the movie where they shot up the school, and only one kid got hit in the head. I thought that was weird. I was like, because did all those kids like duck and dodge all those bullets like that quick? I'm pretty sure there should have been like more kids laid out, but I'm pretty sure they didn't want to show that at that time in that era.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then how they shut up the car, and all of a sudden that hood just comes blowing up out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's like, kind of a classic Hollywood thing. That
I was just like, whoa, okay. But yeah, I mean, it was overall it was good, but the structure could have been a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree. There's like a couple plot holes, and they kind of use that old trope where they just kind of like fade to black, and then it'll say January, right? So you don't really see what's been going on behind the scenes. So, all right.
Like that part where all of a sudden it said November, and I'm like, all right, what happened till November?
Yeah. That's odd. Since the movie was filmed in and around the city of Las Vegas and New Mexico. All right. Well, I thought they just filmed it in Colorado. I don't understand that. Well, that's some good stuff, man. We got anything else to add?
No, that's it.
Jeff, what do you think of the style and structure?
I love the style, and I really don't know. I don't know. I'm not real educated on structure of movies, but I don't know what was the structure of this movie. To me, it flowed well. It was entertaining. It engaged me, and I think I was engaged because, like I said, all the actors gave pretty great performances. They took a pretty wild left field concept, land invasion in the United States, and they made it real. You know what I mean? Because they showed a lot of emotion about dealing with the shock of losing loved ones, and now you can't live at home anymore. You got to go camp in the damn woods, and that ain't no fun, especially in the wintertime with no food.
Yeah, no doubt. Yep.
But yeah, that's all the style of it. I love the style of it, but I don't know. I don't know if there's a real structure to it. Not that I picked up on, anyway.
Well, yeah, to be fair, you're probably right. Hey, we got Robbie's here. Hey, man, pop, boom. All right. You got anything else to add, Jeff? Is that it? All right. Tat, what do you think of the style and structure?
I thought the style of it was was good for the fact, like sorry, just trying to think deep thoughts. But I totally agree with Memo and Jeff, what they're saying. At first, I think you got a great group of people here talking about this movie, because I'm kind of like on the same page with all of you about how this movie was, developed and made. I think it was what I liked about this movie was the fact, like, you would see you see the side of the Wolverines, those kids, what they were going through, the struggles, how they were going to just make it, and then you would go back to the bad side, which is the Soviets and stuff, where they're talking about their game plan of how they're going to stop these kids, and then you have that one guy, he's just like, they're just kids, why can't you just squash them?
Yeah.
And I think the fighting scenes, they were done pretty good. Wasn't too many missed shots, I don't think. But some of the explosions were kind of like, okay, would that really happen? But I think the characters that they were portraying, I think all the actors did really well as playing the part. I don't think there really was anybody there where I was like, oh, really? I think everybody was, especially like when see Howell's character, when he found out that his dad died, it just, you could, I can kind of feel that. I'd be like, man, if I lost my dad in a situation like that, so I think like the structure was good for the fact that, you had two sides, fighting for what they believed in. I think that was believable. And overall, I thought it was a very entertaining movie. I was really, watching it. I wasn't like distracted by anything else around me as much. And so, overall, I thought it was good. I really did. Sorry, I'm just stuff going on now. I'm being distracted.
Oh yeah. I got like doorbells ringing and stuff too right here. Dogs chasing cats.
Yep.
It's all good.
Yeah, I got cats. The dog's in his kennel.
Yeah, I remember the Cadence. I remember that movie too. Did it have is that Tom Cruise? Wasn't he in that one?
No, it's Charlie Sheen. And Martin Sheen.
Okay. Also, I found out some interesting stuff here. I'll tell after Chad goes. Chad, what do you think the style and structure?
Well, I think this movie shines on the style of it. It's definitely 80s action style. You got some people that kind of go on to be, I don't know if I'd say action stars, but action adjacent stars, kind of. Yeah, a lot of explosions, kind of Rambo-esque in certain things. I didn't really notice the music a whole lot. Not much at all, just a little bit of filler here and there. The sound design, yeah, some of the explosions, like there was no explosion sound to it. Actually quite a few that I noticed. Sometimes at the cutaway, I don't know who edited it. But like when the pilot goes to the down pilot goes to put a grenade in one of the MiGs, right? Like you see the pilot like kind of freak out a little bit. You see like a blaze behind him, then it cuts away to a shot of the whole plane, and suddenly the cockpit's open. There's no pilot in there, and when it blows up, there's really no explosion sound. And I was like,
and that's the sound effects department screw up right there.
Yeah. There was a couple of them like that. I was like, okay, but yeah, lots of bullets and badasses, and the story. Yeah, I'm with Memo and the rest of you guys. Like the story and structure, there's definitely some things that are left out, right? It's kind of pieced together, and you kind of piece it together. It just kind of cuts to them assaulting a caravan or a column of soldiers or something.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're doing this now. But it was never boring at any time. Bullets and badass broads. Yeah, that's ActionFest for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Some of the performances to me were kind of flat, and I realized they're very young actors, but especially Charlie Sheen. I thought like his performance with Patrick Swayze was believable, but a lot of times like his empathy kind of fell flat for me.
Yeah.
It was just, yeah, there was a couple characters like that, but again, they were very, very young. As a, a decently old movie now, I hate to say. But overall, it's nostalgia, and I love it. That's it.
Yeah, I agree.
Going back to the sound, like the sound of the movie, it was funny that part where the tank was coming up the hill and they're like, "Get down, everybody, shut up!" Right behind the little rock, and the tank's like right there. They're like, but it sounded like they were screaming at each other. They're telling each other to shut up, but I was just like, they can hear us. I'm like, the tank is right there. What do you do? What do you mean? But it sounded like they were so loud, like when they were talking to trying to be quiet. It was just like the sound was just off.
There's a couple of things here. I found some facts about this. Said that Powers Booth, who plays the Air Force colonel, he claimed that John Milius had cut out the emotional life of his characters. He said, originally my character was anti-war as well as a rightist, and I was supposed to be the voice of reason in that movie, but certain cuts negated my character, he said. Also, Lea Thompson said the original cut featured a love scene between her and Powers Booth, but it was cut out after some previews because of the age difference, and she said that was the main reason she took the movie. It was such a terrific scene. And similarly, a sex scene that took place in a sleeping bag took place between Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey was abandoned after a failed take. Jennifer Grey stated that it was because Patrick Swayze was drunk, and she was high on marijuana, and stated that it got cut. They said, we'll come back and reshoot it, but of course they didn't, and that's one of the reasons she had a negative interaction. Her negative interaction with Swayze made her anxious about working with him again in Dirty Dancing. So anyway, that's interesting. But yeah, there are some stuff, but this movie's kind of like I get blinded by my nostalgia watching this movie a lot. But yeah, you can see like several mistakes. Like well, there's also like my dad who was a veteran, he picks a movie like this apart. Like if he sees a movie and they're in the Army and they're all in the combat scene, they're all bunched up together because they're trying to get them all in the shot. My dad's like, that's bullshit. One grenade, take all 5 of them out.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, little stuff like that. But like there's also like the director kind of preys on our emotions a lot. Like the scene where they're making the civilians dig the holes, right?
Right.
And they stand up and start singing America the Beautiful or whatever. And like, you're like, they're doing that on purpose. He's fucking with our heartstrings, right? But there's a lot of like, and there's also a lot of stuff. It's just like, how are they able to get into town without being seen all the time? Like they go over there to that, to the concentration re-education camp or whatever, right? How come the guards don't spot them standing there at I don't know. I don't know if they would let somebody get that close to the fence, but
yeah. And then the dad screaming like,
"Avenge
me!" Like that wouldn't bring guards over there.
Yeah.
He was whispering.
Yeah. There was a tank next to him we didn't see. And
yeah, they're listening to music. Yeah.
But like that stuff in this movie I'm willing to forgive though. I don't know why. I just am. Also you kind of get the point of like we see these early successes they have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when Powers Booth joins the group, you kind of start to see, these kids, they're in over their heads. They don't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's like trying to show them how they don't want you to run a flanking maneuver. And they're like, and one kid's like, what's a flank? So he realizes like these kids are just kids. They don't know what they're doing. And like, also they did kind of cut I guess if it was part of his character, they may have kneecapped his character by cutting that stuff out. But there are scenes where he's talking to Swayze about, you need to go, you need to get out of here. You've done enough.
Mm-hmm.
You can't stay here forever. Another criticism I would have is that if somebody's building an insurgency or a resistance, you're going to add members. You're going to keep adding numbers. They never add numbers. They just keep losing people, and they take away people, and they don't bring anybody else in except for Powers Booth, which I thought was kind of, if you really wanted to be an insurgency, you would have more people, right? Or you would add people. It would be like a movement. They kind of show that where they're handing out weapons to civilians they rescue, but like they never follow up on that. Like, what happened to these civilians? Are they attacking too? I thought that would have been more interesting. But other than that, I think you guys covered it pretty well. We'll go on to oh, and also I like I call it, I guess, the theme to Red Dawn. It's like the song they play a lot through the movie. I kind of like that song. I thought that was a good score for this movie. I thought the music was all right there, but like Chad said, there are some like sound effects that just are off, like with explosions and stuff. But maybe they were already over budget because they had to get these French helicopters retrofitted to look like Soviet gunships, and it jumped the budget to $19 million, is what I read. So maybe that was one reason for that. He might have been under budget, and they're like, well, we can't go back and do more reshoots.
I'm in the wrong line of business, man. I should be in that business.
For real.
French
yeah, I'd love to make a movie back. I think we're going to need more explosions.
Oh, like Tropical Thunder.
Yeah,
Tropic Thunder.
I like what what's his name? It's like the pyro guy. What's his name?
I can't remember his name, but I know the actor.
Danny McBride. He hits those. He turns the switches on the bombs and goes, big ass titties. Up.
Well, as I was watching this, like the F-15s laying down the napalm, the carpet bombing, there's like 4 or 5 scenes of that, like extensive bombings. And I'm thinking to myself, like, how much of the budget went to that shit for 30 seconds of scenery?
Yeah.
You know?
A lot. Collector Pieces, watching this as a kid, my friends and I wanted to get ready for the war with the Russians. That's what we did. We were like, man, it's going to happen any minute. We got to get ready. I was like, Dad, I need to get some more target practice with my 22, you know.
When I see something on my window. Oh, no. Okay, I'm good.
All right.
The paratroopers?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably grasshoppers.
All right, we're going to talk about the themes of the movie. Chad, I'll let you go first.
All right. So honor, duty, protecting your family, patriotism. I mean, a lot of it has to do with family, right? I mean, it's a small group we're following, and they go through and show you, like, okay, this person's parents are dead, this person's parents are still alive, you know, blah blah blah. But it adds a weight to it, right? It adds to the survival, it adds to the emotion of it, the consequences and how much it impacts you emotionally. But yeah, to me, it's about like doing whatever you got to do to survive and leaning on other people. And when your back's against the wall, like, you got to find some other people, maybe other people on this panel, right? Or your friends, and stick together and try to survive however you can.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, it's also like, you know, like they form their own little surrogate family there in the mountains, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It's good stuff, Chad. Tat, what do you think the theme of the movie is to you?
I got to follow that. That's hard.
Sorry.
Well, like I said, I mean, I agree with what he's saying. You know, I think they were really trying to drive home the fact, you know, like, when you're in a situation like this, what are you going to do? It's like to kind of put it up to you as a audience to figure out, would you do what they were doing, or would you do something different? So I think that's, I mean, well, that's not the theme, but the main theme is, you know, just when you're in a struggle situation like that, how are you going to come together? You know, are you going to fight, or are you just going to, you know, surrender? Are you going to protect, you know, your family members, all that, you know? And I think that they really portrayed that really well in this movie. And I think the main theme, you know, of it was just survival, you know, when stuff hits the fan, you know, just pick up your gun or pick up your knife, do what you got to do to, you know, protect yourself, you know, and definitely look for others that want to help, you know, or in the same struggle that want to survive, you know?
Yeah. It's about like the survival instinct for sure. Like, they kind of have it. They kind of have that kind of, so.
Yeah, because it wasn't Naked and Afraid. Yeah. It wasn't like the show Naked and Afraid, you know, or whatever. You know? I mean, this was, you know, this could actually happen too. That's what's scary. You know, it could happen. It could happen anytime. But I think, like Jeff said, you know, I mean, if anybody really tried to come here, I mean, they'd be met with a lot of stuff. You know, a lot of shrapnel, a lot of missiles, and all that kind of stuff. You know, but you hope that it never comes to that. You know what I mean? I think the other thing was, you know, just don't do, you know, hopefully nothing like that ever happens. You know, it's like trying to show the worst of what could happen, you know, in real life. And sorry if I rambled on. I'm just like,
no, you're fine. You're fine. Say everything you want. If you're done, we'll move on. But if you got something else to add, like everybody, don't act like you got to be like short and sweet. You can say whatever you want.
No, I'm good. Because like I said, everybody's really saying pretty much what I'm thinking, but I can't get the words out. You know what I mean?
I understand.
to some extent. To some extent.
I had that problem sometimes too. Jeff, what do you think?
I think it's a movie that is showing the different facets of war as far as like what themes it's showing. I agree with what Chad and Tat brought up. But what I noticed was some people kind of think it was a rah-rah USA movie, right? But I think it also it talked about the themes of Wolverines are battling an invading force, you know, and dealing with that. And it's like they're arguing about, you know, whether or not they should be doing this or killing this guy or whatever. And I forgot what the line was, but I think Patrick Swayze's character yells out, "We live here," you know, like he's like, we didn't want this fight. This fight came to us, you know.
That's right.
It's kind of, and in the 80s, the Vietnam War was still in recent history, you know.
Oh yeah.
And we were the invading force in Vietnam, and we were dealing with an insurgent type, you know, the Viet Cong and of course the regular northern soldiers, but that was a war that we were fighting, and we were the invading force. So it's to me, it was a little bit of a mirror, you know. And it also deals, like what Chad and Pat were talking about, deals with the emotions that come along with war, dealing with loss of loved ones. You know, they had to deal with a traitor. What do you do with a traitor? 10 seconds ago, he was part of the family. Now you're going to execute him. You don't go from one side all the way to the other like that without having some fallout, man. But yeah, I just saw dealing with the different harsh facets of war. That's what I saw.
Yeah, me too. It was a lot of like they had to learn how to make tough decisions on the fly. You know, that's kind of what happens in war like that.
Oh, sorry, I kept thinking of a quote a couple times during this of would you rather die on your feet or live on your knees? And even at one point, Patrick Swayze says, like, pick up your gun and die on your feet.
Yeah.
You know, I think someone mentioned, like, are you going to fight or are you just going to lay down and die?
Yeah, I think there was a quote by Bob Marley that said, I would rather die fighting for freedom than be a slave all the days of my life.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Memo, what do you think the theme of the movie is?
I mean, ditto to everything that everybody said. I mean, everything was said. It's really like more like if we, you know, it showed a lot of different reactions of people, you know, like individuals on how they would react. You got the brave one, you got the, you know, the traitor, you got the people that want to fight but they're scared. You know, it showed that in this movie, which is pretty cool. But I mean, like, us as Americans, we are not going to let people take our land. You know what I mean? if this were to happen nowadays, I think the people invading, they're not only going to be afraid of the army or our military, they're going to be afraid of the civilians because of how many guns we got.
Oh yeah, look,
we're not going to let someone come and take our shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I live in the Appalachian Mountains, and there's guns everywhere, and like, if they came in here and they tried to go down one of these hollers, it would be like Afghanistan.
Yeah, see, I moved from California to Oklahoma, so now that I'm in Oklahoma, you can conceal carry, you can carry openly, it's legal.
Yeah.
So like when I order DoorDash sometimes and I meet the DoorDash guy at the store, he has a gun on his side. Like I'm just like, imagine someone dropping down from the sky in a parachute right now trying to invade us.
I bet you get a good tip when you see that gun. You're like,
yeah, I see guys at the grocery store with their sidearm. Yeah, I see people, they walk in the Kroger with their gun. Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine one of those guys just landing, all of a sudden you just say, "Oh, I got taken out by a DoorDasher."
Yeah.
Oh God.
So, like,
I was in World War III and I got took out by a guy delivering McDonald's to somebody's house.
So yeah. So I mean,
you got with a guy with an old coon hunting dog and a 30-06 or something somewhere. You can shoot the wings off of Nat, you know. But like, there's just guys I got around here. They could just like, I don't know. I know one guy, my uncle, he shot. They'd go target shooting. He'd shoot better after a couple of beers. So you better watch these guys. I don't recommend doing that. Do not, if you're out there watching, do not go target shooting and drinking. Okay, it does not mix. But this was a different time. This is the '80s. Okay, so all right, Mel, you got anything else to add? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's about it.
All right.
Everybody touched everything.
I mean, I think you guys pretty much covered it, but like, it's kind of like found family. And I kind of, this is not the same thing, I know, but I know we're not in combat, but kind of like with YouTube and how I've met a lot of you guys on YouTube and whatnot. I think met Mel on whatnot, but like, and he's kind of moved over here with us a little bit, which I love, but it's kind of like, on here on YouTube, our comic book community, it's kind of like a found family, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, and like, if you guys ever need anything and I could do it, you know, I'd help you. That's just the way I am, with my friends. And like, I think like these kids lost a lot of things. And I think this movie is really about the loss of innocence and having to leave, childhood things behind because they have to grow up real quick, you know, like you remember that with the part with their dad, when they talked to him, he's like, you remember when I used to take you boys to the park when you were little and one of you'd fall down and I'd pick you up. He said, I'm not going to be there to pick you up anymore. You're going to have to take care of each other. And I think it's kind of when we become adults, we realize like maybe our parents are always going to be there to bail us out or protect us like they want to. And sometimes you have to be a man or grow up and be a young woman and make the hard decisions. And they have to do that several times in this film.
Mm-hmm.
But then like what's great about it, and so this is a positive I think of the movie, is as hard as they get, like as hardcore as they get at some points, they still like every now and then you go, oh well, you get a reminder they're still just kids. Like I think Jeff was mentioned about Swayze. Swayze is probably like been out of school for like a year or something. He's a man on paper. He's a man, but he's still got one foot in childhood. You know, he's not that much older than the other young men and women with him. And so, yeah, I think it's about, that kind of sums it up. I don't think I can say anything else about it. You guys said it all.
Wolverines.
Yeah, Wolverines. That's right. Combat against people who live in the mountains never ends well.
Minutemen kind of thing going on. Our version of guerrilla tactic, you know, in this movie.
Yeah, and let me tell you something else about. I can't tell you where he worked at, but like when my dad was, he was in the Marine Corps, but he was also in the National Guard for 20 years. And in Kentucky, I guess it's like this in every state. Like, well, we have a lot of outlaws around here that like to grow marijuana. This is before we got it. It's medical. We got medical now, but we still have people that grow like I'm sure there's marijuana somewhere in these mountains around me right now. But they would, the National Guard would go in there. They would go in there. The state troopers would go in with helicopters, and marijuana plants give off a certain infrared signature. So they'd go in there and they would drop smoke on it. And Dad said we'd go up in there like he couldn't. I can't tell you where he was at, but they could, because they would move them to like 2 counties over, so they weren't in their own county, so there wouldn't be no retaliation.
Right.
That's how these people were. Dad said that he would go in there and this shit was booby trapped. He said it reminded me of the damn Viet Cong in Vietnam. There was like, he ran one time, they had a rattlesnake and somebody had cut the rattler off of it and tied it to a tree, and it was ready to pop out at people. And he said, you see like the spikes in the ground covered up. You had to watch your back. So but anyway,
it's crazy. Like in Humboldt County, it's called Murder Mountain, like the most popular place to grow there. It's crazy.
Yeah, crazy too. How many people go missing up there too?
Yeah.
Emerald Triangle.
Yeah.
You know, I live in Oregon, so you know it's everywhere. You know, it first started off every place you go, on every corner there was a Starbucks. Then start getting Dutch Brothers, and then now every corner you go to, it's pretty much a dispensary. Seriously, I'm like, man, you know, it's insane. It's like when I lived in California, there wasn't a place or a corner where you wouldn't see a bar. You know, so it's kind of now it's like, everything's just popping up. I mean, there was even a field not too far from my house. These people grew a whole bunch of hemp. And man, on hot days and then wet days, you would smell that stuff and it just, oh God, you know what I'm saying? And the people that rented the land, though, they only took what crops they wanted and left it. So then the city had to deal with it. I was like, man, get that stuff out of here.
Do y'all remember a movie? I can't remember the name of it, but it had Billy Bob Thornton in it. And these guys were in Humboldt County and they were up in the mountains, like guarding a pot patch. And they get raided by some other guys, like trying to steal their weed. I can't remember the name of that movie all of a sudden. But it had Billy Bob Thornton from the 90s. But
it'll come to me probably.
All right. I know I've got to rewatch
Rolling Kansas. Oh no, that's
no, I can't remember the name of it, but I'll find out later.
I'll remember every Cheech and Chong movie pretty much, but
all right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and rate the movie. Memo 420, or well, I keep calling it, but yeah, he's still that Obsidian, whatever. I'm sorry, Memo. 1 to 5 on a 1 to 5 scale. What do you rank the movie?
I'll give it a 4.
All right, a solid score. All right, Jeff.
I'm going with a 4 as well.
All right, we got 2 4s. Anybody in the chat also give us your rating 1 to 5. Tat, 1 to 5. What do you rate it?
I would say from the time period when it came out and just like how it did get people, you know, amped up, I would give it a 4.5.
Okay. Chad.
I think there's some solid themes. It's got a really cool style. It kind of lacks in performances a little bit for me, as well as the structure. I get a big bump for nostalgia, but on the revisit, it wasn't quite as impactful as I remembered it. I'm going to go with a 3.5, which is still well above average, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not quite what I remember it.
Hey, two guy. And the movie was called Homegrown, by the way.
Homegrown. Okay.
All right. Collector Piece, it's a solid 4. Two Gun Pedro gives it a 4.5 out of 5. We had 3 4s and 3.5. I'm giving it a 4 as well. So I'm not good at math, so I'm not going to do an average, but yeah, it was Homegrown, 1998. So it's about a 4 or something. So I don't know. I think it's pretty good. Also, I forgot to do this earlier, so I'll do it now. We've been keeping a total of the body count for all the movies of ActionFest. How many people on screen deaths in these movies? And this one is 140 on screen deaths in this film, which gets us to a total of 1,078 so far, and we're just a little bit over halfway done. But let me tell you something. We got like Expendables doing the entire Expendables like franchise and the John Wick franchise, and believe me, And the Expendables, there's a high
Kill
death
Bill.
toll. Yeah, Kill Bill. There's some high death tolls coming up. So, but right now the current single leader of a movie is 300, with 330 to infinity. I don't know how many people die in that movie. So, but at least 330 to 340. So, and we got a lot more in store, and I'll show everybody what's coming up. Of course, Friday on Fable on One Collection Downs channel, they're going to be reviewing Con Air. And every time I think of this movie, I think of the part where Nicolas Cage in his southern accent says, "Put the bunny down." All right. And then hold on, I forgot to bring up the other one. All right, give me a minute. I want to load it because I don't want to be like I don't know what I'm doing here. So here we go. All right.
Like me last night.
Down.
Yeah. Well, no, I wasn't going to say that. You did pretty good, I thought. Yeah. Then Monday will be Sudden Death at 9 p.m. Eastern on Pop Culture Philosophers channel.
That's in the title there too.
Yep, a lot of death in the title of that one. And then Tuesday we'll have next Tuesday. I hope I got these right, Chad.
You got it.
Yep. Dirty Harry on Metal Elf Collectibles channel. And I will be there for that one, and I'll be there for Con Air with Fables channel. And then we're going to circle back here next Wednesday at the same time we did this one, and we're going to be reviewing another 1980s kind of nostalgia trip, Iron Eagle, starring Louis Gossett Jr., man, Louis Gossett Jr. So, and we got a lot of other stuff left. Look at this lineup, y'all. Look at, we got Tango and Cash, the Expendables franchise, Kill Bill 1 and 2, Big Trouble in Little China, and John Wick franchise, which is like 1 through 4. So it's hard to believe there's 4 of those movies now. And also, I got a video out right now where I'm do a retrospective on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue 1 from 1984. And I got a preview video coming out for the new Buffy the Vampire Slayer that comes out Friday at 4. So, and we'll move around the horn. Chad, what else you got coming up on your channel?
Yeah, first off, Matt, thanks for having me back. A lot of fun tonight. Everyone here. Yeah, first check out the video from last night. We reviewed Nobody from 2021 with Bob Odenkirk. A couple people, Memo was on there last night. We had a lot of fun. I figured for myself.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. Great conversation. We went about an hour longer than the movie itself. Please check that out. And then coming up, I will be on Friday. I'll probably be on with you tomorrow, Matt, for
Comic Lounge.
Comic Lounge. Yep. Show some books, do live sale. Then Friday, I'll be on Con Air with Fables channel, One Collection Down. And then let's see here. Monday, I will be on PCP movie night for Sudden Death. Tuesday is Dirty Harry. Yeah. And then from there, I don't know. But yeah, check me out on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all that good stuff. Thanks.
And we got Fable calling out. Thanks, chat. We got Fable calling out Robbie for giving it a 4.069 for Nobody. And Fable said, it's a 5, damn it.
Yeah.
All right. I agree. That was a pretty good movie. I like the part where the guy, he sees his tattoo and he goes, sir, thank you for your service. And he walks out the door and locks 5 locks behind him. It's like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
All right. Tat, you got anything coming up you want to shout out?
I just have to work. No, okay. But I'll probably have maybe a haul video soon. And then I'm going to be doing some art pieces for some YouTubers and probably show some of that on Instagram. And yeah, I'll just be looking for your guys' shows when you guys have them posted. And let me see here. Oh, organizing my garage. God, I got to do that. So there won't be no video on that. That'd be boring for you guys. And, let me see here. And then, definitely checking out claim sales from Aaron, I like his claim sales and seeing you on there, Matt. And I just want to say thank you for having me on the panel. This was fun. First time, so thank you. And yeah, just pretty much that. Some videos here and there. So
all right, cool, Chad. Big Jeff.
I don't have nothing coming up except
He's
I'll
just,
be
he's
on,
a
be on
he's
the
a
chat.
he's an internet gypsy.
Yes.
All right.
I'm a
Tim, I know you got some good stuff coming up, man. I know you got your tell us about your eBay Live coming up.
Yeah, so I'm in the process, still in the process. I already signed my contract. I just gotta do a test live with them so they know that I'm doing it right. As soon as I'm done with that, I will be able to get my date on when I get to go live for the first time. So I can't wait for that. So you can check me out on eBay. Right now I don't have it as Obsidian Comics because I'm going through the whole process.
Okay.
Once I'm done, I will be changing it to Obsidian Comics. I'm also on Whatnot right now as Memo 420. I will be changing that too as well to Obsidian Comics pretty soon. You can find me on there. I sell a bunch of comic books, like sketches and stuff like that. Here's like a little preview real quick. Like Absolute Green Arrow.
Well,
That's a full-on sketch.
nice.
And then
That's awesome.
like other stuff that's kind of hard to find.
Wow. Put that under black light.
Here's an exclusive that we did.
Oh, nice.
Hey, our friend Sabrina, she showed that off on a Fable show one night. I'm like, hey, I know who did that.
I like the hat, by the way, too. That's cool. Wu-Tang.
Oh yeah, thank you.
I love the Wu-Tang clan. That's
ain't nothing to fuck with.
Exactly.
Wu-Tang forever.
Neck.
All right, that's right. Wu-Tang forever, y'all.
Yep.
Enter the 36 chambers. All right. All right. Well, that's the good stuff. Thanks, guys, for being here. I appreciate it. And so anyway, if the enemy invades your country, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to stand up and be like the Wolverines, or are you going to be more like that wussy mayor who was working with them? Don't be like that guy. That guy was, Anyway, but as I always say for ActionFest, may all your explosions be big, all your pecs be huge, and all the women be hot, and you never run out of ammunition and never have to even change the magazine. That's what ActionFest is all about, right? So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Later. Oh, I almost left the studio again. All right, let me end it. All right, bye.